Welcome to Driven AF Recovery. It is Friday night and we are back. Dennis and Steven, Matty. We are going to talk about a topic that they talked about in alumni yesterday. Steven and I weren't party to, so I'm going to have Dennis start off reading the definition and we're going to talk about it because we definitely have experience with this.
So last night we talked about terminal uniqueness. Because we've got a lot of guys here right now that are actually struggling with that, and I know all of us do the same thing early on in recovery.
At one point or another, for sure.
Terminal uniqueness is defined as, and also referred to as, personal exceptionalism. It's the false belief that your experiences with substance abuse are unlike those of anyone else. Essentially, people with a history of addiction often want to think that they are somehow different, unique from other people with addiction and substance abuse problems. Terminal uniqueness may lead you to believe that other addicts are unable to relate to you, or even that you are better than them. The history of the term terminal unique comes from AA and is often referenced in meetings. While addiction is different experience for everyone and every individual is unique, addicts tend to have more things in common than not. Unfortunately, those that are terminally unique may not be willing to accept this fact. Instead of recognizing how similar they are, these individuals focus on the differences and often exaggerate them in their heads. This type of thinking can be damaging to their personal relationships as well as dangerous for their sobriety.
And their lives.
Yeah.
You want to take it to the extreme, which we just did lose another guy, I heard.
Yeah, two.
Two? Oh.
Matthew Milka also.
I did heard about him, but
Steven Spangler.
oh fuck.
Yeah. That was the one you guys had the conversation with at alumni that night about, yes, you do have choices and you can choose.
Yeah, I remember.
Because remember he said, he's like, well, you can't guarantee tomorrow what you're gonna do.
That was him.
That was
Yeah.
him.
I
It
didn't
was
know
like,
about that
yes,
one.
the fuck you can.
Yes,
Yeah,
I remember.
I remember that very clearly.
Yeah, because that's the night I spoke up and said, well, I don't, I can 100% with certainty say that I am in control of my decisions and that I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I know I'm not drinking or using.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I remember thinking that, and I think that is probably an example of this. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously no fucking PhD, but I went through this shit like thinking, or not, I mean, I could go on and on about this shit actually, but just with myself, like, I'll be different because this time I'll take Adderall. It'll be different. That's the same kind of fucked up thinking, I think. Like, oh, that one won't get me. I'll be able to control that shit, right? Because I'm better than any other fucking addict.
Mm-hmm.
I'm smarter or somehow different, and a different drug's just gonna, that'll be all. That's not gonna end up the same. Not for me, but it did. All of them. Every fucking one of them.
Irrational decisions.
I think that's part of like when I'm in rehab, I was like, I'm just fucked up.
Yeah.
I just accepted the fact that I am not different than any other motherfucker sitting in here. And I'm not. I'm still not.
Yeah, as we were talking, or as you guys were talking, you were reading about the topic, I was like, holy fuck, like I just got hit with like 47 different occasions of where I had suffered from terminal uniqueness. Damn, I feel like it's such a broad spectrum, you know what I mean? Like I can be like, like at first I always thought like I was so much worse than everybody, so you couldn't possibly understand, you know what I mean? And like that's why I kept relapsing, is because I was far worse and I shot way more heroin than you did, or I smoked way more crack than
Like
you
it's
did.
a badge of honor, right?
You know what I mean? Right. Like, so I was different, like so I was beyond help, but like
Yeah.
you could maybe get help, but then on the other end, my ego would kick in and I would be like, oh well, I'm smarter than you, so I don't need to go to this many meetings, or I don't need to do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm serious. Like it's ego a lot, I know, but it's also the term.
I
of
think it
uniqueness,
aligns.
You know what I mean?
And I think it's also a built-in excuse to why I can still do shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like, so like last night at the meeting, like I touched on the fact that like when I first came into rehab, like I noticed I had a lot of those traits, I mean, some of even the basics like generalizing or, comparing myself to others and not realizing like my biggest thing was like, I would feel like well, I've experienced more turmoil, more turmoil and more trauma in my life than that guy, so he doesn't know what it's like, to live a hard life. But not realizing that, like, everybody's personal trauma in their life and, like, in their worst pain, your worst pain isn't any different than my worst pain, or your rock bottom. Like, your trauma is your trauma. How do I rationalize how that makes you feel? And that was one of the biggest things I did, was like, I'd sit around and hear somebody talk about, like, they'd smoke weed and drink once in a while, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why are you even in rehab? Like, my life is so much worse than yours.
Right.
And not thinking about, like, what have they gone through? Like, how do I know that they didn't, experience any physical, emotional, or sexual abuse growing up, So right off the rip, I would try and categorize myself as differently. Well, my uncle molested me, my dad fucking beat me, my real mother left me for dead. So, like, you don't know what pain is,
Right.
But, like, your worst pain isn't any worse than my worst pain, or better,
Right.
And that's, I think, where I did a lot of my, separating myself from others, until I started realizing, my life's no different than yours, no different than yours.
Experiences may be different, but
Right.
the feelings and the shit we've put ourselves and gone through isn't really any different. Whoa, I don't know what the fuck happened there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know, man. The more I like listening, the more I'm thinking about it and listening to, like, it's like the shit we tell ourselves to justify, like, if you're different, then you don't have
Right.
to do anything different, because you're not going to be that way.
It's basically
It's
like
not going to be you.
Right.
to justify our actions.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not sure. Does it not sound
Yeah,
like
no,
it?
it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is, because I know from doing groups with you, and I know you work here and have done a lot of groups.
I've seen a lot
Like,
of shit.
I've heard a lot of guys like, my rock bottom wasn't that bad. Like, I haven't lost everything, so I don't really think I need to go to a sober house, or I don't need
Right.
to be here the full 28 days, or I don't need to do aftercare because I still have I have a job. I make this much money. You know what I mean? I was never homeless like this guy, so I don't need to do that. You know what I mean? And I know
I wasn't
we've
that
all
guy.
heard a lot of this.
Yeah,
I wasn't
That's
that
a
motherfucker.
prime definition of that.
Yeah.
Categorizing yourself outside of, or above, or below somebody else. When at the end of the day, we're all fighting the same fucking struggle. We're all going through the same fucking
I
struggle.
remember, I mean, I was in here before either you, not much before you, but I went straight through. I was here 25 days, whatever. It was, I got released, obviously, but I didn't say I had done anything while I was in treatment other than pills. That was my fucking story, and I was sticking to it. And that's almost, I'm not as bad as you guys. Knowing damn well I shot cocaine, shot heroin, shot meth. You know what I mean? And I didn't come to that until like a month later at Alumni. Right before you came in and I went to Ford. I fucking was like, look guys, I never really said any of this, but here it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, I think it was part of like, oh, well, I'll feel better if I just, I didn't go to those fucking, but I did.
Yeah.
I think it's like some of this shit's like just coming to the reality with yourself that, yeah, you did all this shit and you ain't no different. I might not have been homeless. I might have had a job where I made good money still because I was functioning to go to work, but didn't mean all my consequences weren't completely fucked too,
Right.
Like,
or
so,
your
the prison
pains and your
and all that.
struggles,
Yeah.
were in different areas of your life. Doesn't mean they weren't any easier or
And
harder
everyone's bottom is
than
different,
somebody
you know
that was
what I mean?
homeless.
How many, I mean, you guys have been to meetings, and I used to go to like HA, NAA, because in my mind it was all the same shit. It's all the same steps.
Oh yeah.
They're all drugs. And like in my mind, and I know this is going to be debatable with some people, so it's just my fucking opinion, whatever. But I would hear like alcoholics, like because I'm not. I'm a fucking drug addict,
Right.
through and through. And I would go to AA and be like, Maddie, drug addict, and people would look at me like fuck, and even
Like
say
you're in the wrong
shit.
meeting.
Yeah, like you're in the wrong meeting. Like that shit's worse.
Yeah.
I actually heard that. I'm like, why? How? What the fuck? Like, I mean, I know this is a topic people will actually debate. In my mind, drugs a drug. I don't give a
Right,
fuck if it's
substance
alcohol and
abuse
it's
is
legal
substance
or
abuse.
not, right? Yeah, but I mean, even that even exists in the recovery community to some fucking degree or another.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, you get a lot of those old timers and shit. You know, they're like, you know, if they're just an alcoholic, then you know they look down on anybody else that's got a substance abuse issue because, you know, it's okay for a man to have a drinking problem, but
not,
you know,
not a drug problem.
right? If you've got a drug problem, you're in a whole different category.
You're a different kind of scumbag.
Yeah, like it's a separate problem. Right? It's a separate-
Right.
Like in my
Everybody's
mind,
the
it's
same.
never been like a substance is a substance is a substance. I don't give a
Absolutely.
fuck if it's legal or not. I mean, weed's legal now too, and obviously we've seen that cause, as we were just discussing,
Right,
plenty of
yeah.
fucking problems for people.
Yeah.
And I know some people that don't at all, but some people can also drink alcohol and not fucking act like assholes.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of anyone that with heroin and meth, but you know,
Right.
you know some people that could take or leave coke, which is not me. But
I don't think anybody smokes crack socially or shoots heroin.
Yeah, right.
I doubt it.
I just do it on Saturday when I just take the edge off.
Just do it when I'm tired.
Right, that would put the edge on, but anyway. I just think that's a fucking dangerous game to play, man, and I learned it, the hard way, but I didn't pay the ultimate price, luckily, you know what I mean? It took, as, you know, kind of what we were just talking about in group, man, it took like finally coming back a third time and having Doc rip me a new asshole every one-on-one, you know, for the full 4 weeks to realize that I'm not special, I'm not different,
Yeah, I heard
you know,
some.
not any better, you know, I need just as much help as anybody else, if not more. It was a tough pill to swallow, man, and I think that's, you know, I don't know where the fuck that pride comes from after doing drugs for that long. You shouldn't have any pride or ego, but for some reason I did.
A lot of
A lot of
people
people fucking.
I know.
still fucking feed off their own ego and
I
live
know.
off their own ego.
I'm just saying, for me, like,
Yeah.
looking back, it's like,
What the hell?
where did that ego come from? That
I
pride
mean-
come from for what?
I think
Yeah.
sticking around the community helped me with that a little bit because I
Yeah.
like watch guys go to sober houses and have like these massive fucking egos, and I can think of
Yeah.
JR's initials being one of them. And like walking around, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then it would make me check myself too. Not that I was that bad at that point, but like, I don't know, like I have a little fucking ego issues too, which I obviously did because I mean I got my truck impounded for a year plus
Yeah.
because I thought I was too good to wait for a fucking permit to show up in the mail. You know,
Mhm.
that's ego.
Yeah, same concept. You know what I mean? These guys, some people get out, they got 5 minutes clean, and that same terminal uniqueness kicks in. You know, they think, well, I've got 5 minutes clean and I'm in a sober house, so I can tell somebody else, you know, how to live their life and what choices to make and what decisions to make, you know, because they feel like they're better than the new guy that just walked in the door.
And you see that in the meetings too,
Yeah.
which was part of the reasons like I kind of don't really go. And there's some good ones too, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been to some out here when I used to go to Justin and Alex actually
Yeah.
that were fucking phenomenal. But just it all revolves around people and where they see things, I guess. Like, but this is a big deal, and I think kind of like from what I'm like hearing, seeing, and thinking myself, like part of it's like you got to accept the fact that you're not that.
Right.
You're just as fucked up as the next guy, and as soon as you can get that through your fucking head, maybe you can change some shit.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're gonna find reasons to not change anything because I'm not that bad, right?
Yeah. That's the thing, like, to me, you know, if you found yourself in rehab, you are that bad. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you still have a nice car at home and you still have a job waiting for you because you're using, you know, your sick days or your paid time off and, you know, whatever. If you found yourself in rehab, I don't care if you were fucking eating out of a dumpster or if you're a fucking CEO of a company, you're fucking the same.
Shit, we
Right.
have to build
You know
high
what I mean?
rises high as fuck.
It's all the same.
Right.
And like you said, our pains might be different, our traumas might be different, but one man or
We're
woman's
still
not.
experiencing the same.
Yeah, it
Right.
doesn't, you know.
We found the
you-
same solution.
Right.
Yes.
That is not the solution.
Exactly. You
And
found
then
yourself,
typically made our lives fucking hell with that.
Temporary toxic.
yeah, found yourself needing help, so like you said, accepting that you're no different and you need just as much help as the next person or anybody else, no matter where you come from or what your bottom was or what your pain was.
Yeah.
You know, if you feel like you're unique or different, that shit can kill you and it might kill you.
That is it's killed a lot of
It's
motherfucking
killed
people.
a lot of people, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I don't know, you know any of them statistics? I know what they are just in our little community, and it's a lot.
Yeah, they change so much, it's hard to even keep up.
Right.
Um,
I saw something not that long ago, like per minutes in a
Yeah.
day, it's fucking a lot. It's not,
You know, another one I see a lot too that I try to point out to sometimes, you know, some of the guys once in a while is like, you know, needing more attention to others, one-upping each other, or one-upping others.
Oh,
Thinking
yeah,
like the
hear that.
rules do not apply to you. So like, you get a lot of guys that come in and think, you know, oh, I've been here before, so, you know, I've got a leg up on these guys. Or, you know, you hear people all the time, like, let's, you know, tell them war stories, or like, oh yeah, remember when, you know, this happened, and oh yeah, no, I did that too, but, you know.
but I did it better.
Right.
So, or whatever the fuck.
I was a better scumbag than you.
Yeah, you can say you jumped out of an airplane parachuting, and I did the same thing, but I didn't use a parachute.
Right, yeah, but I'm still
Always
here.
went up.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
it's
you're
like-
right. Or just like the rules thing. I mean, somebody just stole a sandwich I was hearing stories about. So,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Thinking because, oh, you know, they've been here, or they think they're the coolest guy in you know, in rehab or recovery. So, like, the rules don't technically apply to them because, you know, they're not the same as everybody else. I'm better than the rest of
like
them.
they don't get is like the fucking rules apply to everybody
Yeah.
all the time. I mean, I'm not, you know, I have the worst outlaw mentality on earth half the time, but like, it doesn't mean you know, there's not consequences should I choose to fucking go my own way.
Mm-hmm.
I fully understand that finally.
I think when it comes to like recovery, like, you know what, you know, you're not unique and you know everything applies to you. So as far as like you want to call
Right.
whatever rules or laws to live by, if you're an addict, like you're feeling like you're different or special, or you don't need to do what everybody else who's had success in recovery has done,
Yeah.
there's a good chance it's gonna kill you.
That's why I'm glad I stuck around alumni, because it took me a while after getting out to really even see that.
Yeah,
I mean,
me
with
too.
myself,
Me too.
you know, and like being around the guys and coming to that every week. And I was like, that's when it finally hit me. I'm like, fuck, I'm not any different.
Right, yeah.
I don't know why I'm not telling them the truth about me. You know, like, what am I trying to do here? What the fuck what is my point? Like, oh.
Hey, yeah, I think a lot of it too, you know, is people are, you know, so concerned with, you know, are people gonna judge me for, you know, what I say or what I share? You know,
It's true.
and, you know,
I think that was part of it with me.
Yeah.
Why in a room full of people that had shot heroin and cocaine and shit?
Am I worried about their opinion?
Yeah, what the fuck? And you know,
But
and
I
I had
feel
done
like-
it too, so like, what
Right.
the fuck? What? Yeah. But still, that was part of it.
Yeah. What did I tell that guy at the end of the group today? It was pretty much exactly what we were talking about. I was like, I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a dick. I'm like, that is a bullshit, unrealistic fear. I was like, if that's what you're thinking and that's what's keeping you from doing
Opening
the
up
things
and
and doing the uncomfortable shit. We were talking about uncomfortable shit, remember?
I know what you're talking
You know, and I was like,
about. The guy that was sitting right next
you
to
know, maybe that's like a defense mechanism, or no, I don't know, maybe it's part ego, or maybe it's just this irrational fear that you've convinced yourself of. Either way, it's bullshit.
I told him, I think it was
the great things are on the uncomfortable stuff, on the other side of the uncomfortable shit,
Mhm.
you know, and that's something we talked about tonight that I think ties into this, like, you're not unique, you're not special, do the uncomfortable shit just like everybody else,
Right. You have
needs
to
to
put
do,
the same amount of work in to succeed.
and you can find a good life on the other side of it.
like, we as addicts can either keep being addicts and not deal with the uncomfortable shit up front and have more uncomfortable shit as a result, or just deal with the uncomfortable shit and actually get your life better over a little bit of time
Right.
than you would have ever imagined. You know, like that's
Yeah.
Better.
you gotta deal with it now or later.
I know one of my biggest issues too with that was, you know, with trying the uncomfortable shit, you know, and putting the work in, and if I saw something that seemed like it was gonna be a lot of work, or I was worried about failing, like I would always go to my, you know, it was always my go-to solution for any kind of tough situation was, well, you know, never try, never fail. So,
Yeah.
you know, I was so used to already failing that, well, if I don't fucking try, or if I just go through the motions, then I'm not gonna fail because I'm not really putting any effort into it.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it was a fucked up way of thinking.
And that goes back into like the half in, half out shit.
Yeah.
Like if you're half out, you're never really gonna get what you want.
Yep.
Cause
See,
you're
my-
never really going all in.
Mine was a little different. Mine was more like, I'm kind of like what you're, I'm special. I don't need to do that.
Yeah. I don't
I'm
need
better
that. That's
than-
not gonna work
I'm
for
better
me.
than-
I know.
Well, I think it's like human nature, man, like even non-addicts, everybody wants to guarantee that that work's gonna pay off the way you want it to.
Yeah.
There is no, it doesn't exist. But I guarantee you this much, at least in my little experience the last 4 years, when I put the work into shit and I keep doing it long enough, it always works out. Maybe not exactly how I envisioned, but it's always better than where I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that much I can fucking guarantee. And is it easy? No. I mean, I keep a fucking schedule and running, like, that sometimes boggles my mind. I'm like, why the fuck do I do this? But then I think about my life and I'm like, oh, that's why I do this.
Yeah.
Well, till next time.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Closing.
Any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah. Just at the end of the day, don't forget, you know, you're no different than the next man that's struggling in this fight.
Next man or woman.
Or woman.
No better, no worse.
We're all in the same fight. You know, we all experience the same struggles and addiction, and that makes us, you know, very
Kindred spirits.
yeah,
You're not fucking special.
unique as a group and not an individual.
I just thought of Fight Club when you said that, Tyler Newton. But
You're not
anyway,
special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're no better.
all
no
seeing,
worse.
all dancing
Yeah.
shit, or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck he says. Fight Club, great movie.
Not fucking special.
Right.
Yeah, do the uncomfortable shit. You're not special.
And trust me on my closing thought is, if you're wondering whether it's worth it or not, it is.
Oh, 100%.
Without a doubt.
Whatever you're asking yourself, definitely, you know, recovery for sure. But anything you want to try.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Cool.
we'll see you again next week. I believe the three of us are going to be a regular deal, and hopefully we'll get us another guest. So, anyway, even if we don't, we'll be here talking shit about something.
Yeah, or someone.
Or something. All right, everybody have a fucking great week. Pay it forward. Let's make the world a little better place. However we can do that little day by
Right.
day.
Stay safe.
All right. See y'all.